Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Shatanshu, and I'm going to be your co companion today. I'll be one of the co presenters. I have over 11 years of experience in digital marketing, being associated with Google for over 5 years now. I'll meet you all later in the session. But early on, we have my lovely colleague Pallavi. She'll be doing the first segment of the session today. So I'll give it to you, Pallavi. Can you please quickly introduce yourself and take it away?
Absolutely. Thanks, Sitanshu. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon based on your different time zones. First of all, I'd like to share immense gratitude to all of you for joining us here today and showing keen interest towards this camp. Shatanshu and I, as a team, assure that we solicit you a bag full of valuable learnings from this camp while addressing most of your queries throughout the discussion, right? And with that, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Pallavi, your immediate POC at the hour of need. While having a good experience in Google Ads for a long time now and coming from an agency background, I do understand the challenges that you face while working on the ads interface. And that's where we will be mediating your expectations with our entire presentation today. So before we begin, do feel free to drop in your comments on chat and let us know what queries you have. All right. A warm welcome again. We have some exciting opportunities for our attendees. We invite you all to join our community of product experts. This is a vibrant community of super users who play a very critical role in the Google ecosystem. And now, some of us are most excited about that is the Google Swag. Engage with us through this live stream over for the next 1 hour. Ask us questions, give product feedback, and prizes will go to the folks who both engage during the session and fill out the feedback form via the QR code linked here, right? So please quickly use this QR code to fill out the form with a valid CID and email address. And in order to qualify for anything you see here on the screen, we absolutely need these two things. So I'll just pause here for another 10 seconds, allowing you all to quickly scan the QR code and fill the form for us. All right. So today we have a bunch of very interesting content lined up for you. We will talk about what Performance Max campaign is, followed by understanding the different marketing objectives it is compatible with, and furthermore, Shatanshu will be talking about a few optimization procedures and insights that you derive from the PMax camp, thereby scaling your overall campaign further, right? Now, let's get into the depth of Performance Max in details, right? So, first of all, let's take a look at how you can use artificial intelligence to uncover new pockets of demand by marketing at the speed of consumers, no matter how unpredictable their journeys may be, and why insights, reporting, and measurement is a cornerstone of AI powered solutions like Performance Max, right? Consumer journeys are moving towards targets. Purchase decisions online are very complex, dynamic, and also nuanced than ever. On one hand, consumers are turning into real product detectives. We observe this research obsession as people explore and evaluate their options more than ever before. 61% of the consumers are using around five or more online sources before they actually make a final purchase, like searching, watching an online video, going to maps, and so on. And this is at an all time high, even compared to the heights of COVID, right? So we are seeing searches that are even more specific and refined in nature. Consumers aren't just looking for apparel, they're also searching for matching pajamas for couples, right? On the other hand, we the opposite is happening. Impulse shopping has significantly grown year over year since 2019, with over a quarter of consumers saying that they have purchased on on impulse in a 2 day period, right? So now let's get into the depth of introducing Performance Max campaign, right? This slide here shows a very beautiful evolution of where we have come from in the last 15 to 20 years of running shopping ads from Google. It brings the best of Google Ads, AI, and automation together to let brands like yourself promote your business across all Google surfaces. When standard shopping was introduced a few years back, feed driven search intent based ads were being popped up. consisting only of the first two properties, that is, shopping and search. And with smart shopping campaigns that came around 2018 to 2022, we are now uh, we were now showing ads on three additional properties, right? Which were Gmail, YouTube, and also display. And with Performance Max campaign that was introduced a year or more back, we have added a notch higher by showing ads on the last two properties as well, that is, the Discovery and Max. So to summarize, we have evolved from two properties to two and now to five and now to seven, and this means that our campaigns are now cross-channel in nature, giving you the opportunity to buy ads from a single campaign across all Google properties, helping you to drive more online sales, leads, or even store visits. Right. Now, Performance Max is a combination of artificial intelligence and automation together, right? We all know. For marketers, this means that getting the right message in front of the right customers, also at the right time, is constantly a moving target. In order to present at, in order to be present at those key moments on all those parts to purchase, campaigns can be set up from the start to be truly AI powered, right? Performance Max campaigns can actually exactly do the same. You set your goal, your budget, and provide some core assets, and then Performance Max campaign works across all of your advertising services to discover new pockets of demand and deliver the highest performing media campaign to you. The future of Performance Max campaign is right here. We don't do search or display. We don't talk CPC or impression share. We activate performance goals like driving online sales, lead generation, offline sales or store visits, and also reaching customers whether they are online. And thanks to the machine learning based infrastructure that are proven to work at its best at this journey, right? Now, an important game changer here is the fact that one can get more conversions at a similar cost per action while using a PMax campaign. The AI here finds the highest value conversions at the best possible ROI across the entire Google network. And doing this, it tries to prioritize your business goals like sales or leads to optimize targeting, bids, budget allocation, or also the ad placements, right? So advertisers who use Performance Max can achieve an over of around 18% more conversions at a similar cost per action. Now, these agile campaigns enable your budgets to follow demand and growth, whether they are across the channels and inventory that will deliver the most value to you. While this may be a change from channel specific approaches, some marketing teams use its worth based on the results, right? So when Performance Max first came out a couple of years ago, you were seeing around 30% more conversions at a similar cost per action. But now that you are that you're using Performance Max campaign at a larger scale at a day-to-day basis, you are seeing around 18% uplift, right? Now, how does Performance Max campaign help you? How does marketer ensure that he or she is reaching the right target group at the right place and also at the right time? There are three ways in which Performance Max actually helps you answer these questions, right? First, it helps you have multiple conversations or connections with the users in the form of interacting with them at multiple touch points like search, shopping, display, discovery network, etc., which are all a part of the Google Ads inventory. And then you can also multiply your conversions in conversion value by optimizing for the highest ROAS possibility, right? Having the campaign set to run in all channels while using all the inventories, whichever inventory will have the highest ROI conversion possibility, that will be optimized. And lastly, we also talk about multiplying expertise by sharing relevant insights using these campaigns. Now, there are ways through which you can analyze the performance drivers of your client's business. You can also create insights on the highest performing products or maybe the asset groups and suggest your clients certain best practices to capitalize on them, right? So these insights will set a platform for you to plan on your next campaign structure accordingly, right? So whether your goal is to sell online or maybe drive request quotes or trying to get more foot traffic to your storefront, if your business focuses on any of these three goals, Performance Max is the way to drive more of these for your business. Basically, you can opt for one or more goals from a single campaign while assigning different values to your conversion goals to drive the highest ROI possible. Another new feature that we have within Performance Max is the new customer acquisition mode. Now, this feature helps you expand your audience base by bringing in new set of customers rather than retargeting the ads to the same set of audiences in the upper funnel of the consumer journey, right? Now, based on your internal analysis, it has been deduced that advertisers using this feature have improved their new customer ratio by around 13% with a reduced cost of acquisition by around 19%, right? Now, while we know how different Performance Max campaign is from the rest of the search, display, discovery, and shopping campaigns, the key feature that we are aware of is its potential to target multiple channels from a single campaign. With that, Performance Max campaign also has the power to utilize the cross-channel bidding mechanism in a more optimized manner as compared to a single channel bidding, right? You may see an unexpected channel to deliver you better results compared to previous campaigns' performance, and that's where your next highest ROI conversion could come from a channel that you haven't even considered in the past, right? Now, while creating Performance Max campaign, what matters is also the quality of inputs or feedback that you have within your Performance Max campaign. Human intervention in combination with artificial intelligence plays a very crucial role here. Behind every campaign success is the marketer leading the way. Your input can help differentiate your business and drive better results from the artificial intelligence. The key levers you can use to steer the power of AI includes conversion goals, high quality creative assets, product feeds, and also the audience signals. So right here on screen, we also have certain limitations or certain best practices that has been provided by Google to ensure what each and every bidding, budgeting, measurement, creative feeds, and insights mean to you, right? So when you talk about bidding in advanced goals, make sure that you are considering the lifetime value of your customers in terms of the budgeting. Make sure you use platforms like Performance Planner for measurement and data. Also, make sure that you have set the right set of audience signals for your campaign, and for the creatives and the feeds, provide the interface the high quality of assets. High quality of assets means text ads, descriptions, headlines, and everything. And definitely do take a look at the insights. That is how you will understand how exactly is your campaign performing, how it had been doing, and what is the scope of that campaign giving you better results in the future, right? Now, while creating PMax, we have a very common question that we address to most of our practitioners here, right? How does a search campaign and a Performance Max campaign work together? One thing that we explicitly want to share with the practitioners today is that Search and Performance Max campaign together is a power pairing. And this combination will actually help you win maximum options. While search is just limited to one channel, using broad match keywords with smart bidding and also good quality responsive search ads will enable the search campaign to perform better on the respective marketing objectives and goals, right? So clubbing this campaign with Performance Max will actually help in a better keyword coverage with the AI technologies and will also ensure to cover all those inventories that your search queries are not able to cater. Now let's take a look on how actually we can start working on a Performance Max campaign. There are a few steps enlisted here, right? And that starts with defining a goal based on your business model, followed by opting into Performance Max campaign and then determining the appropriate budget with strategy in the form of target ROAS or CPA. And along with that, you also have a few low hanging settings like geolocation, conversion actions, and a bunch of other things that are also advisable here, right? And then number five also includes including a bunch of assets like text, images, video, headlines, descriptions, etc. And the audience signals, which is a very key and a critical role, which allows you to add more audience cohorts, which you believe the system should go after on observation or targeting mode. Lastly, we also have adding in a few extensions at a campaign or an asset group level for a better performance overall. So in Performance Max campaign, ad extensions are tied to specific marketing goals and will be featured more prominently based on your campaign goal, right? So ad extensions can be informative that gives the user an opportunity to learn more about your business, and they can also be actions that invite the user to do more than just a visit to the website, right? So some actions may be to maybe to call the business, submit a lead form, or maybe just view the location. Ad extensions basically invite the user to gather more information about the business or extend their interaction between the business and the user on a one-on-one basis, right? Now let's take a look into a few bare minimum requirements that are very necessary to launch a successful PMax campaign. The first of it includes choosing the right conversion goals and building a strategy chosen for your client's business objective. Like I mentioned before, you can optimize your PMax campaign for more than one business goal. So make sure you are clubbing all relevant goals within one single campaign. Next is optimizing for the right bidding strategy. If you have a campaign with a single conversion goal, in that case, uh, you set it up to maximize conversion bidding strategy. But if you have multiple goals and they all have different values, then it is advisable that you opt for a value based bidding strategy. Now, this bold strategy helps you focus on conversions with high average order value. Let's say, for example, um, a campaign may yield around $100 for product one as compared to product two, who has a value of around $10, right? So, in that case, you can assign the maximum conversion value bidding strategy to increase your overall average order value basket from $10 to $100. Next important thing that we have is a well constructed asset group. As I said earlier, these are the most integral part of your campaign creation process, right? So make sure you use these asset groups, segment your campaign structure across multiple categories. Again, an example, let's say there are different locations which have different multiple language preferences. In that case, make sure you construct multiple asset groups in those preferred languages based on the different geographic locations within a single campaign, right? So, similarly, you can segment multiple asset groups based on different product categories or your product types, etc., within one single campaign. Next one talks about including the video assets along with visual assets, right? So videos are the most prominent inventories that are working these days, right? So there's a good chance that it is growing at an unprecedented rate. So make sure you have a video added in all the asset groups that is supported in a PMax campaign based on the dimensions mentioned on the screen. So if you have certain assets in different dimensions as compared to those, there's a good chance that these assets will not be supported with your inventories and displayed in your campaign. So if you have a GMC feed, make sure you integrate it with Google Ads so that you can also run the PMax campaign with a list of all your inventories that are added to the feed. Also, increase your presence in search options and ensure relevant landing pages and ads with URL expansion and the asset and automation. Now, if you talk about assets, like I mentioned in the previous slide, whenever you create an asset group, make sure you have all optimal asset mix. When I talk about an optimal asset mix, I'm talking about all kinds of assets that are supported in a Performance Max campaign. The best combination of an optimal asset mix here is having the best video practices followed by the logos, images, and also the text, right? So when it comes to the video practices, like I mentioned before, make sure that you are following these core dimensions. Otherwise, there may be a good chance that your video is not getting approved and it just randomly creates another video out of the internal images that it has within its system and displays that. So that will eventually impact your performance and maybe does not deliver the right kind of expectations that you have from your campaign, right? You can Refer to this video later as this is available on YouTube, or you can also watch it on demand for these checklist items here, right? So prepare a similar list for your team by taking a snapshot of the slide or creating a slide of your own based on these combinations in order to make sure that you're taking care of these checkpoints that are very integral. Now, when it comes to optimizing a performance max campaign, there are so many levers that you can actually optimize it towards. What I have done on this slide is I have tried to talk about a few advanced optimization levers that you can steer in order to optimize your performance max campaign. Now, one of it is, what if you want to scale your campaign? You want to get more traffic or conversions or conversion values, and you want to opt into a URL expansion. Doing this will help you scale your visibility by allowing the campaign to attract more traffic. You can also opt into automations. There are some Gen AI based asset automation that is now about part of the Performance Max campaign. You can take advantage of those optimizations to your assets on a real time basis in order to expand your limit and reach. Harness the power of Google AI to easily integrate and curate high quality text ads. Generated assets are now a part of Performance Max campaign creation, right? So let's say you want to add an image asset, you can write commands which will create images on your behalf for your asset group. And these assets, trust me, are usually of high quality, and it also saves you ample time, which you might have spent on creating the assets manually. Then deliver great ad performance with web to app connect, right? Let's say you are running a business which has its own website and an app. You can use deep linking in order to link your web to the app to track all the conversions that are happening across either of the platforms, right? So this helps you create an omni-channel presence for your business, helping you increase your brand visibility across each step in the consumer buying decision journey. And then you can also leverage tools for your clients' brand suitability goals. We will talk about brand suitability and safety measures in details in the upcoming slides for your better understanding. But before that, let's just quickly take a look on what are the search themes and audience signals. What roles are these two playing here, right? Now, I want to talk about two of the recent changes and advancements that we have made within PMax, like I spoke just now. Some of you might have seen audience signals from a very long time now, but may not have utilized it. And themes is something which we have very recently introduced within Performance Max campaign. Now, search themes basically expand your volume and improve the relevance of your targeting. Let's say you're running a campaign on athletic shoes. A user interested in basketball shoes will be the same as a user searching for an athletic shoes, right? So, this can be utilized as a search theme for your ad group to add a wider set of audience as possible. So now you can provide as many as 25 different themes to your Performance Max campaign. And those are the search themes that allows your campaign to identify platforms like portals or websites which are more accurately suited for your content or advertisement to get more optimal results. I would advise you to be very vigilant while picking up your search themes for each and every ad group that you set within your campaign. Let's say you have a bunch of content on your landing page. The AI here is very smart enough to pick those keywords from there and target ads based on those specific keywords. But there are instances where you want to focus on certain keywords which are not mentioned in the landing page. In that case, you can best utilize these search themes for a better campaign performance. Another way that you can optimize your campaign is using the audience signals. You can ramp up or speed up the learning phase of your Performance Max campaign by adding audience signals. You have a list of similar audiences that you can target based on your previously converted audience list, right? You can also use custom segments to provide insights into the search keywords, the web URLs, and also the apps that your customers typically engage with. So, these are the two additional ways through which you can actually optimize your Performance Max campaign. So that was how you can optimize or the new features that you've come across Performance Max campaign. Now let's take a look into what are the marketing objectives, how are they helping us, and how we can deliver the best results for our business, right? Let's talk about Performance Max campaign for lead generation. Let's uh I mean Lead generation is optimized, or it typically works with Performance Max campaign in a very cyclic manner. So if you're running a search campaign, do not replace it with a Performance Max campaign. Rather, club it with a Performance Max campaign in order to ensure that they are delivering the best possible results. So keep running your primary lead gen campaign, which is a search campaign, for instance, and club it with your Performance Max campaign in order to ensure that you target all the search keywords across your inventories through the power pairing combination. Now, if you want to deliver high quality leads, use conversion value rules. It is super critical. You can also set conversion value rules based on three different signals, either audiences, geolocations, or even the devices. In conversion value rules, you can say, hey, if the users are from, from a certain audience list, I want to give them a higher value as they have delivered higher value to my business. And that way you allow Google Ads to optimize ads towards those set of audiences. You can do that for geolocations, devices, and audiences as well. So take advantage of these value rules for your lead gen campaign, mainly for optimizing it for high quality leads. Next, we talk about Performance Max for store goals. This digital product is designed exclusively to maximize shoppers in your store. It caters to the right person, consumers who are most likely to visit your business at the right time, which is triggered by your user intent, and then the local search queries and devices for distance to your business, right message, which talks about standard assets that Google optimizes for your store goals, and lastly, the right platform by running on platforms that will provide incremental reach to your campaign. Now, this store goal within your Performance Max campaign can maximize traffic for all locations, support specific locations, and also diversify store visits through product showcasing or utilizing the artificial intelligence. Let's talk about how you can actually maximize traffic across all locations. Now, most of the business owners have a few common questions like how they can drive more traffic when their annual sale is coming up. What should they do to drive more offline visits and sales, and that they need to drive more visits because offline customers maybe are more valuable to them. The answer here again lies in Performance Max for store goals. This campaign will actually help you fulfill all of these queries by optimizing them to perform better. So opt in for this specific marketing objective and make sure that you're able to cater to all of these respective questions that you have in mind. Next, I would like to pass it over to Shatanshu to take over Performance Max for online sales. Over to you, Shatanshu.
Thank you, Pallavi. That was a very detailed discussion so far. There are some questions in the chat. I'll take them up one by one before we go further. So there's a question from Sobranil. He says, why we can't use custom audience in the Performance Max campaign? Now, Sobranil, how audiences works in a Performance Max campaign is very different from how it works in the conventional campaign types, right? Now, the kinds of audiences that you can use as a signal, and that's a differentiator between Performance Max and other campaigns, which is in Performance Max, you use audiences as a signal. So you give a signal to Google Ads and you say, hey, these are the audiences who are more likely to convert. Can you find similar audiences? In other campaigns, in the conventional campaign, you have audiences that can be added as a targeting as well, which is not the case with Performance Max campaign. In Performance Max, the audiences, as I said, works as a signal. The kind of audiences that you can add, there are some first party audiences. For instance, if you have a website visitors list and you're tracking them, you can add them as an audience. You can add app user list, you can add customer list. For instance, if you have their email IDs or subscriber list, you can add them as an audience. You can also add video views list or video viewer list rather as an audience. Apart from those few first party audiences, you can also use something called custom audience segments. So custom audience segments is supported in Performance Max campaign. You can create them from detailed demo page, right? And you can add, let's say, for instance, relevant keywords, the URLs or the apps. And then based on that, you can create a custom audience segment in your Performance Max campaign. You also have demographics targeting. There's or other signals, signals that you can provide. There are additional audience segments as well. For instance, detailed demographics, live events, affinity, in market. All those audiences are supported in Performance Max campaign. The point to remember is that audiences in a Performance Max campaign works as a signal, which means it allows your campaign to optimize towards the kind of audiences that you have added, from the list of audience types that we discussed about just now. There are more questions. Let me take them as well. Ferry says, if you create a local campaign, will the ads only appear on Map or also appear on YouTube, Gmail, and others? So Ferry, if you're creating a campaign, if you're creating a local campaign through Performance Max, right? If you're creating a Performance Max campaign, for instance, and then the objective is store goal, right, which is visits to a physical store. In that case, your campaign is qualified to run across all the seven ONO, right, which is all the seven inventory types, which includes map, but it's not limited to map only, right? So your campaign will is qualified to run across search, the YouTube, discovery, and all other inventories as well. And you'll have the idea of a Performance Max campaign is that it optimizes towards the objective of your campaign, and it will optimize towards store goal visits at a most optimal ROI that it can generate for your business, right? That's how it works. But yes, your campaign will be qualified and appear across all the seven types of inventories in Google Ads. There's a question from Kumar Bikram. He says, how to optimize Performance Max for quality lead gen. Okay, so we do have a segment where we talk about how you can optimize the lead quality of your campaign. We'll talk about that in a little bit from now, Kumar. There's also a question from Nero. He says, the question I want to ask is about the Performance Max campaign and standard shopping ads. Since the Performance Max campaign includes shopping ads, why should we keep the standard shopping campaign? Is it still worth running the standard shopping campaign separately now, or should we invest in the Performance Max campaign in the future? So that's the question that Nero has. Now, Nero, you're right. When you run a Performance Max campaign, it caters to shopping feeds as well. So there is an objective called Performance Max for online sales. And if you're running Performance Max for online sales, it can be run for a feed-based campaign or a non-feed campaign as well. But as long as you're driving online sales, that can be achieved through Performance Max, and your campaign will run, as I said, across all the seven types of inventories. Now, what if you want to control your visibility only to shopping feeds and only to shopping inventories, rather, right? So let's say you want to run a campaign, which is a catch-all campaign that you want to run across all the inventories. But at the same time, you also want to create a campaign which is specifically for shopping inventories, which only runs on shopping inventories or shopping real estate that you have in Google Ads, right? In that case, you may want to run standard shopping campaign as well. But you're right, Performance Max can work as a single solution for all the shopping campaigns. But if you, as I said, if you want to have a control over a single inventory, if you want to continue running campaigns on an exclusive inventory and only to that inventory, in that case, you can go ahead and create a standard shopping campaign as well. There's another question from Bibhash. The question is, I want to run video ads for my application in only mobile app games. How I can run ads via Performance Max. So Bivas, as we said, right, Performance Max runs across all the inventories. If you want to run inventory specific campaign, you can continue using the legacy campaigns that you have. You have search campaigns or video campaigns. There's a display campaign. Those campaigns continues to be supported through Google Ads. So if you want to run a campaign exclusively for one inventory, take advantage of those campaign types. Performance Max in particular works across all the inventories. All right, Tim says, would like to know how B2B companies could benefit best. So Tim, as we said earlier, Performance Max works for three different marketing objectives to be very precise, right? One is online sales, then you have offline sales, or it can be omni-channel as well, which is online plus offline. And the third objective is lead gen. And I think B2B companies mostly run campaigns for lead generation where they want to achieve, where they want to generate leads from new business opportunities. And Performance Max in particular have something called Performance Max lead gen objective that can be achieved through through a program or through a subsection of Performance Max campaign called new customer acquisition or NCA. There are multiple NCA strategies. We'll talk about those in the coming slides, but NCAs can work really well for lead gen accounts. And then B2B companies mostly tend to generate lead gen or mostly turn to, in turn, comes to Google Ads to run campaigns which is primarily focused on generating lead. So that's how Performance Max for lead gen can actually benefit B2B companies as well. How can we get these slides? Murtaza asks. Murtaza, we can't share the slides with you, but what you can get is this session that you are going through right now. This will be live. This will, after the session is over, this will still continue to be on this page. So you can always go back to this link. You can share this link with your colleagues if you want to share among your team. And they can always refer to these, the recorded segment. The recorded session will be available for them to consume after the session is over as well. So you can always go back to this link. You can always look back at this presentation. You can always pause at any point of time you want to, particularly consume content from a specific slide. So that's how you can consume the content even after the session is over. Erika says, is this the same PMax Masterclass from March 2024? So there have been some content updates, Erika. There are some new changes. There are some updates in how Performance Max works. The features of it has also updated. So the end objective is that we all are updated about the new changes and the new updates that is happening on Performance Max, the new features that you have now with Performance Max. Later during the session, we'll also talk about what's upcoming. So those are a few segments that are net new to this session. Okay, so there's a question from Akshan. He says, it would be great if you can brief about offline store visits in PMax, also how to create that with best practices. Yes, we'll cover that, Akshan. We'll talk about how you can create Performance Max campaign for store visits, and that's precisely what I think you're talking about, where we talk about how Performance Max works for store visit and how you can optimize your campaign if you're running campaign Performance Max campaign for store visits. All right, there are more questions. We'll take up those queries as we progress. I think for the time being, it's time to go back to the content and cover the rest of the slides. But there's a question from Yash on YouTube live stream as well. Let me take that as well. Where can I learn performance marketing? Is there a Google's course for performance marketing? Yes, you can refer to our learning portal called Exceed LMS, which is an external facing learning platform. You can also come to Ads on Air, which is the platform that we're using for this session right now. And you can search about performance marketing and you'll get some learning content there, which can help you understand how performance marketing can be done using Google Ads. Where can I learn? Okay, all right, we cover that question. There's another question. Can I use Performance Max for my first campaign to grow my business restaurant with goals many people visit my restaurant? You can absolutely do that. As I said, there's an objective within Performance Max called store visit. So if you choose store visit as an objective, and then you create a Performance Max campaign around it, you will be able to direct people to your store through all the seven inventories, which is part of Google Ads. So your campaign will be visible not only on search, but the six other ONO inventories that Google Ads command, right? So your campaign will be visible to way more people. They'll be able to come to your store or to your restaurant and then take service, right? So that's it is feasible now. You can create Performance Max campaign for a store goal or for restaurant businesses as well. All right, I'll move ahead. I'll go further to the next slide to discuss about how Performance Max works for online sales, right? Now, those of you who have run Smart Shopping campaign in past, you would know that Smart Shopping campaign was the first step towards inventory focused goal aware campaign type, right? So now if you're running Smart Shopping campaign, you would know that the inventories that was part of Smart Shopping was not just limited to search, but also third party display. You also had ONO display, which is Gmail, YouTube only, and Maps. So those were the inventories that you had with the standard or with rather Smart Shopping campaign. Now, what comes with Performance Max is an incrementality to that. What we have done with Performance Max is that we have picked up all the best things about smart shopping and we have added additional teeth to it. So, for instance, in inventory, as we discussed, search 3P display, O&O or display, those were the inventories that were available with smart shopping campaign. With Performance Max, you also have dynamic search ads, which is also covered as an inventory. You also have discovery ads, there's YouTube in-stream ads, maps. All of those are added inventories that you have now with Performance Max as compared to smart shopping. Similarly, for format or the formats of ad that was supported through smart shopping, you had search, 3P display, and O&O display because those were the inventories as well. But now, with the inclusion of new inventory, you also have new formats that are supported in Performance Max campaign, which is text ads, YouTube in-stream ads, map pins. Bidding, under bidding, we have made a significant change in how bidding works, how bidding used to work for smart shopping and how it works for Performance Max campaign. The new inclusion is maximize conversion with an optional CPA, which was not available with smart shopping campaign. So now you can maximize conversions, and you can set an optional CPA for each conversion that happens on your website as well. So that's an incrementality to smart shopping features. Under control and transparency, as we discussed briefly about, there is something called audience signals, which you can use in order to optimize your campaign further. And that's a new feature that we added to Performance Max campaign. So with those additional features and with those additional teeth to the campaign creation and campaign optimization, Performance Max is more optimized towards ROI focused conversions and conversion actions on your website. So that's the difference between smart shopping and Performance Max that you have now. Now, if you're running campaigns for sales, right, specifically if it's an online sales based, Performance Max campaign, there are some best practices that you must consider. Now, one of it is promotional timing. So every time there's a promotion, or if you know that there is going to be a window of time where you have to promote your products in a very specific way, there's a sales promotion that is happening. What you need to do is that you need to prepare and start the campaign at least 2 to 3 weeks in advance. Now, a lot of time we have seen that advertisers and our partners at agencies tend to start running those campaigns a little bit late. What you end up having is in a situation where let's say your campaigns or your ads are not approved, you don't have enough time to optimize and resubmit them. So we always recommend you to start the campaigns at least 2 to 3 weeks in advance. Utilize the asset group automated rules to schedule your assets groups or assets. So create your assets, schedule them for the promotion timing. However, create and put them and upload them in your Google Ads account at least 2 to 3 weeks in advance so that you have enough time to restructure, to rework if need be. Prioritize the visual assets. Now, whenever there's a sales, whenever there's a promotional timing or whenever there is an objective of driving sales, what really works in your favor is visual assets, right? Which is the banners, the videos that you have in your Performance Max campaign. Now, we have seen a lot of times this also gets overlooked, which is people tend to create all the headlines and descriptions. However, the image assets, the video assets, those are the ones which is ignored in a few cases, unfortunately. Now, what we recommend you to do is to prioritize those visual assets so that you have assets that can cover across all the 7 types of inventories that we discussed about. Also run Performance Max in parallel with your search keyword campaigns. Since these are your sales or online sales campaign, your search campaign or search keyword based campaign rather will continue to be your primary campaign to drive online sales for your business. Use Performance Max as a sidekick. Use it as an additional incrementality opportunity in your account, which means your search campaign will continue giving you the result that it was generating earlier. The Performance Max will get more opportunities which is not captured by your search campaign. So this is going to be an incrementality to your overall conversions and conversion value that you generate to your business. So consider Performance Max and then create it in parallel with your existing search keyword campaign. Now, as we said earlier, there is a strategy within Performance Max that allows you to optimize towards new customer acquisition, and we'll talk quickly about that. So, if you look at this one, this tells you about how you can drive high quality online sales, right? Or how can you engage with the online users in a better way, right? Now, how do you do that? As with the help of new customer acquisition goals. So when you create your Performance Max campaign, there comes a time where it asks you about your customer acquisition objective. Now you have an option where you can optimize towards new customer acquisition. Again, this is an optional field to select, but if you do select optimize, campaign for engaging with new customers, you have two options to choose, or rather, now you have three options to choose from. The one of it is that you bid more for the new customer than the existing customer. What it means is if there is someone who is already a customer, someone who is already a purchaser of your product, let's say between me and Pallavi, I am someone who has already bought a product on your website in past. So I'm part of your existing customer base, right? Now you want to acquire new customer. You, even though you want me to become a repeat buyer, you don't want to optimize, or you don't want to bid as much for me as you want to acquire Pallavi as a new customer, because Pallavi has never converted in past as a business on your website. So you can do that. You can optimize towards acquiring new businesses while continue focusing on existing customers as well. So this way you value your new customer higher, and you say, hey, my new customers are valued, let's say X dollars more than an existing customer, and that way you give a signal to Google Ads that, hey, optimize towards anyone who's not already a part of my customer list, right? So that's one. The other is that you only bid for new customer. You say, hey, I only want to bid for new customer. If there's anyone who is already an existing customer, I don't want to optimize towards them. I don't want them to repurchase from us. It's okay if they do it organically, but I don't want my campaign to be showcased to such people. And I don't want to spend on acquiring someone who's already an existing customer. So that's another goal that you can achieve with Performance Max campaign, right? So you can optimize and you can say, hey, here's the list of users who are already a business or already a customer of our business. I don't want my campaign to showcase to them. I want my campaign to only showcase to someone who is not part of that list, someone who has never purchased from us. So you optimize towards only bid for new customers, right? Now, there's also a new strategy. We'll talk about that in the coming slides, which is called optimizing towards new customer with high value, which means if among five individuals there are two people who are new, or who has not purchased anything from you before, they are new customer, both of them are new customer. However, one of them will have a tendency of bringing higher dollar value to your business in the lifetime, right? So this is called predictive lifetime value. Now if one of the individual has higher predictive lifetime value, you optimize towards such individual, and you say, hey, anyone who tend to have higher value that they can generate over a longer period of time to my business, I want them to convert to my business, right? So you can optimize for those objectives as well. So those are three different objectives that you can optimize towards within new customer acquisition goal. Now, this is what I was talking about. So you have three different new customer value mode, where you value new customer higher than the existing customer. Then you have new customer with high value optimization mode, where you optimize towards those new customers who can generate higher value in the longer time. And then you have new customer only mode, where you want to optimize only for the new customer that your business have. Now, what is recommended for lead gen accounts, or what is recommended for online sales? Now, for online sales, we recommend you to use the first strategy, which is new customer value mode, because in online sales, you don't want to discourage anyone, even if they are an existing customer, to come and repurchase from you, right? So it's okay for someone who's already a customer to repurchase a product, and hence we recommend you to go for new customer value mode, where you optimize towards new customer, you value new customer higher. However, you still continue garnishing, and you still continue attracting the existing customers to your business. For lead gen, however, we recommend you the third methodology, which is new customer only mode, where you, because it's a lead gen account, since you already have, let's say I have already submitted a form on your website, so you already have my details. I'm already in your pipeline. I'm already being considered by your sales team. So you don't have to attract me again to your website. You don't have to ask me to submit another lead form, because I'm already a lead to your business. So for lead gen accounts and for lead gen campaigns, we suggest you to use new customer only mode. However, for online sales, we recommend you to go for new customer value mode. The new customer with high value optimization mode is something which is in beta, currently being tested out by a few of our partners. Some of you might have seen this in your account as well. And if you have seen it, this is again a good fit for online sales, right? So that's how these three objectives within NCA can be utilized in your account. Now, how your question would be, and very obviously, that how does Google know who are my existing customers and who is going to be new customer. How would it optimize towards new customer? Now, Google uses three different ways to identify existing customers and optimize towards new one. The first one is customer list. This is a very manual way where you upload the list of existing customer, right? Or you can use a customer match list and you can upload that, and that gives Google Ad a sense of your existing customer base, right? So this tells Google that, hey, these are the customers that I currently have. And if there's anyone who's net new, who is not part of this list, they can be considered as a new customer to my business. Now, this customer list can be utilized for both the mechanism, which is for new customer value mode or for new customer high value mode, right? Now, there's also something called auto detection. Now, under auto detection, Google algorithm uses and determine whether user is a new or returning customer based on their last 540-day look back window. So it looks back at last 540 days, and based on a user's behavior on your website in those 540 days, it tries to find if this is someone who has already converted into a business or not, right? So it's called auto detection, through which it automatically detects based on someone's behavior in last 540 days. That's the default look back window that it looks into, right? And this can be, this auto detected list can be used for NC value mode, where you want to optimize towards new customer with a higher value. Then you have the third optimization or third way of identifying, which is global site tag. So if you're using global site tag to track the behavior of users on your website, and you use global site tag, Google global site tag, to monitor the behavior of individuals at different pages of your website, that's another way through which Google can identify if there's someone who's an existing user or a new customer, right? And this list can again be used for new customer value mode optimization. Now, there are some reporting and insights, which is key feature of Performance Max campaign, which can actually help you understand your campaign's performance in a very well way. Now, before we get into those reports and insights, understand that Performance Max works on a very simple philosophy, which is good in, good out. So if you give good inputs, and your inputs can be your conversion goal, the value that you assign to each of your conversion action, the assets that you have added, the bids that you have assigned, the budgets that you have kept for each campaign, audience signals, as we discussed about. These are all different kinds of inputs. These are all different kinds of inputs that you give to your Performance Max campaign. And based on the quality of these inputs, the output will be significantly impacted. So if your inputs, if your conversion goals, the values, the assets, the audience signals are of high quality, you can expect good result coming out of your Performance Max campaign as well. Now, if you look at these two tables, what we have done on the left side is we have discussed about a few legacy actions. So how, for instance, how do you use to understand or figure out the fluctuation in performance? So if in past, if you had to understand the cause of fluctuation in performance in a particular campaign, what you had to do is you had to run daily auction insight report, right? And then identify what's shifting the performance, what's been the cause for the performance to go, let's say, decline, right? So it was a very manual process. Now there's in the new insights format, you have an insight called performance shift, through which with a single click you will be able to generate this report, and you don't have to do anything manually. You also have something called change history insights, which again can give you, based on change history, it will tell you which change history have caused the fluctuation in impact, right? So it maps all the changes that you have made in past and the impact of those changes on the performance. Similarly, if you had to troubleshoot any performance issue, earlier you had to manually review your campaign settings and understand what could have been possibly gone wrong, because of which you have, your campaigns are not performing. Now there's something called diagnostic insights. Now this insights can be run again in a single click, and this tells you exactly the reason for the campaign to not receive any conversions. So these are automated ways. So if you look at the list largely, right, you have something for growing business, you have something for understanding competitive landscape, for which there is something called auction insight now. So there are insights now available for almost all the legacy action that one has to perform earlier manually. And now these insights reports are readily available. All you have to do is to log into your Google Ads account, go to insights page, and then look at these insights report. You can download them. You can share that with your client. You can share this with your team. You can share this to your manager, and all that can be done in a few clicks. So it's easier to understand your campaign performance and the possible a reason for a fluctuation, or probably understanding the competitive landscape. All that can be done in a few clicks, as compared to earlier, where you had to go through multiple manual processes to achieve that. Now, if I talk about a few product innovations that we are prioritizing, something which has been made recently as a change to Insights, you have something called Asset Audience Insights, which was launched recently. That tells you the mapping between assets and audience. So this tells you what kind of assets are resonating well with what kind of audiences. So, for instance, you have added 10 different kinds of assets in your Performance Max campaign. This tells you exactly which of those audiences, or assets rather, are working well for what segment of audiences. So this will help you understand what is working well for audiences, how you can modify other assets in your campaign to optimize it further. So this asset audience insights is one of the recent changes that we made in Insights reporting, and how it is helping advertisers and practitioners kind of gain expertise and then optimize their campaign further. You also have something called diagnostic insights, which we talked about in the previous slide. This helps you to understand when new campaigns can't serve. So let's say, for instance, you ran a new campaign, you notice that there's no performance, there's no conversion happening to that campaign, and you want to know why, what could have gone wrong. This insight will help you precisely figure that out, right? So, in a few clicks, you'll be able to understand why your newly added or newly created campaign is not performing, and what you need to do in order to ensure that that campaign starts performing. Now, some of the insights that our team is working on, and these are some that is either being currently launched as a beta, or will be soon available as well, are budget insights and first party insights, and also channel path insights. If we talk about channel path insights in particular, this tells you what combination of channels resulted in conversions on your website. So one of the questions we have received is that, hey, since my Performance Max campaign run across all the channels, how do I know which channel contributed to conversions? And this channel path insights will actually give you that insight. This tells you what combination of channels are generating highest volume of conversion on your website. Then you have first party insight, again something which tells you or gives you an insight into your first party data that you have added to your Performance Max campaign. There's also budget insights, which is currently being developed and will be available for advertisers and agencies very soon. Now, there's something also in Performance Max called explanations, which tells you and which helps you understand the reason for a fluctuation. So, if you go to your performance report and your campaign report, and you see that if you compare your data for, let's say, last 14 days to the previous 14 days, or last 30 days to the previous 30 days, and you notice that there is a decline in performance, and if you mouse over to it, it will tell you the possible reason because of which the fluctuation, or because of which the decline in performance might have happened, right? And that explanation can help you understand and also find ways to optimize in order to overcome the fluctuation in performance, right? So that's explanation which is available now in your Performance Max campaign. Now, when we talk about audiences, I want to stress and double down on the messaging that you need to prioritize your customer match and dynamic remarketing list. These audiences can work in multiple ways. For instance, they can act as a signal so that your campaign can learn quicker and optimize faster. They can also work as audience value rules. So if you're using audiences and you're adding them to your campaign, then you can set value rules for these audiences, and you can say, hey, certain audiences are more likely to convert, and I want to assign them higher value when they convert. So that's another way through which you can use audiences. And then you also have new customer acquisition goals, which we discussed about at length. And customer match and dynamic remarketing list can actually help you optimize towards NCA objectives as well. So those are three different objectives for which these audiences are really helpful. So I'll suggest, if you're not using them already in your Performance Max campaign, please prioritize adding customer match and dynamic remarketing list to your Performance Max campaign. Now, one of the questions that we receive is, hey, can we achieve brand safety and suitability in Performance Max campaign? Since it's automated, since it's AI based, is it still feasible that I can achieve brand safety and suitability? You absolutely can, right? And all the brand safety controls that you have in other campaigns, they're also available almost in Performance Max campaign as well. For instance, inventory modes, content exclusions, digital content levels, and content themes, they work based on your account level settings. So if in your account you have set these inventories exclusions, they'll be respected in your Performance Max campaign as well. For keyword exclusion, however, you have to take advantage of something called brand exclusion for PMax, which is not recommended. However, if you have a situation where your brands are very particular and they want you to exclude some of the keywords or some of the terms that belongs to brand to serve in a PMax campaign, you can create a brand list and you can add that as an exclusion in your PMax campaign. So that's how you can exclude a specific set of keywords and then terms for which your campaign will not appear in your PMax campaign will not appear. There's topic exclusion, placement exclusion, and app exclusion, which works very similar to how it works in any other campaign. So net, all the brand safety and suitability control that you want to achieve through Performance Max campaign, that can be achieved in your Performance Max campaign or in your Performance Max campaign as well. So to answer a lot of question which says, hey, is it feasible that I achieve the similar kind of brand safety that I do in other campaigns with the Performance Max campaign, or Performance Max is a black box with less control? I'm happy to share that no, all the safety and suitability controls are available in Performance Max campaign as well. All right, with that, we come to a conclusion. And I really appreciate you all for all the patience that you have shown. I'll take up if there's any questions left now. But before we get into questions again, there are exciting opportunities for all the attendees. As Pallavi explained earlier, you have to engage with us. And I'm really thankful that a lot of you asked really insightful questions in the chat. So that's one way. The other is that you can scan the QR code that you see on the right side of your screen, and then you will be led to a Google form where you can share any feedback about the product, and those feedbacks will work. If your feedback is of high quality, if those are helpful for us to optimize our product offerings even further, you will be shortlisted for these opportunities as well. So those are the opportunities that we have for all of you who are attending the session today. Make sure that you are adding your valid email ID so that we can reach back to you, and also add your CIDs while submitting the Google form by scanning the QR code on the right side of your screen. Now, a few questions in the chat that I'm picking up now. All right. Now, Devansh says, are all the things that you mentioned in this session valid for vehicle listing ads as well? If Devansh, if you're referring to brand safety, I guess you're referring to brand safety. If yes, then yes, all those safety features are available for all the verticals of advertisers, irrespective of the vertical that your client belongs to. If your question was about the other features that we discussed about, as I said, NCO objectives is something which works for all the advertisers. It can work differently for someone who is trying to create a campaign for lead gen versus how it works for an online sales. And hence we diverged into that details as well, where we discussed about which NCA objective can you utilize for online sales, which one can you utilize for lead gen objective. So if you be mindful of those nuances, it will work for vehicle listing businesses as well. Another question from Swastik. Hi, I hope you and your family are doing well. Thank you for sharing such insightful knowledge. We're launching our Performance Max campaign, exploring predictive AI marketing as we are on process for GCP integration. What's an appropriate budget, and how can we optimize for high value customers? Are negative keywords helpful, and what? So as I said, the negative for negative keywords, what you can use in Performance Max is called brand exclusions. So you can use brand exclusion at campaign level, and that can help you optimize for it. However, if you want to add keywords as a negative, you can use the account level keyword negative keywords, and that is respected in your Performance Max campaign as well. I'm really excited about you exploring the opportunity of AIs, and in particular Performance Max in your accounts. Swastik, and I appreciate you sharing your insight there. There is a question from Eloras. The question is, do Performance Max campaign, demand gen, and traditional search campaign compete against each other for the same set of audience? It does not, right? So Elora, how it works is that you have something called ad rank, right? So for each of the campaign, there's an ad rank that is decided. Now, how priority or how it is decided among all the campaigns that you have in a Google Ads account. Let's say you're running a Google Ads account, And in your account, you have a search campaign, you also have a demand gen campaign, you also have a performance max campaign. Now, first of all, the demand gen cater to a different stage of audience or user acquisition. So if you look at the user funnel in a marketing objective, you have at the top of the funnel, you have, let's say, awareness, consideration as your objective. And then in middle, you have something more consolidated, which is secondary conversion actions maybe. And then at the bottom of your funnel, you have the acquisition as the objective. Now, PMax and search as a power pair, or PMax and search as campaigns, works best for the lower funnel objective, the absolute lower funnel objectives. On the other hand, demand gen is more for mid funnel objective. So they cater to two different stages of a user's journey, right? Moreover, if let's say in an account you have all these three campaigns running, which is search, performance max, and demand gen, every time there is a possibility for all these campaigns to qualify for an auction, how it is decided that whichever of these three campaigns has highest ad rank, that campaign enters the auction. The rest of the two campaigns takes a backseat. Okay, it's as simple as that. So there's no internal conflict, there's no internal competition. Right, it's very simple. Which of these three, and I'll give you an example. Let's say there are three, you're part of a team, and you're in a sports where it's a team of three individuals, right? Now among you three, when you're competing against your competitor, whenever there is a chance of, let's say, 101 face off, right, you will allow those that individual in your team to compete in that auction or in that game or in that competition, who stands the chance of winning that. Similarly, when it comes to campaign, we look at all the three campaign, and whichever of those three campaign has highest ad rank, that campaign stands a chance to win that auction. So we send that auction, that campaign to the auction. The rest of the two campaigns takes a backseat, right? And this changes from auction to auction. Every time there's a possibility of your campaign qualifying for an auction, this ad rank competition is done, except for a few cases. For instance, if there is a precise match of search query with that of the keyword that you have in search campaign, then your search campaign wins that auction every time, right? So no, there's no internal conflict. Your campaigns decides based on the ad rank in most of the cases, which of the campaign enters the auction, and the other two campaigns takes a backseat. Do performance max campaign work best for most brand queries and retargeting? That's the question from Darshan. Now, Darshan, PMax campaign is a query-less campaign, which means you don't, or rather, a keyword-less campaign. So you're not targeting based on keywords. You're rather targeting towards the goal and the objective of your campaign. So if your objective is to generate, let's say, online sales, it looks at queries. It also looks at other inventories, and hence it's not limited to queries. Okay, it works for brand queries, it works for non-branded queries as well. However, if you want to have greater control over brand queries, that's where brand exclusion or kicks in, and that's where brand exclusion as a safety feature, as a control feature, helps you to have that control whether you want to run your performance max campaign for brand terms or not. But yes, by default, performance max serves well for brand queries as well. As for retargeting, as I said, a performance max campaign does not use audiences as a target. So you can't specifically target a select few audiences in a performance max campaign. You can add audiences, which works as a signal to your performance max campaign. Shubham says, why I'm getting health is in personalized advertising. I'm running a PMax campaign where I'm selling a medical devices like BP monitor. We are a health register business. Also, I'm not able to run a marketing campaign. Shubham, for some of the segments of businesses, there are some policies that needs to be taken in consideration. We have very strict policies when it comes to health and health related products that you want to advertise. And I'll request you to go through those policy documents properly in a detailed way to understand what could have been the possible reason. Again, I would have helped you if I could get to know about the specific account ID that you are running. But yeah, let's circle back on that. But I'll recommend you to go through the health center articles that details out the policies for health and health related product. Marty says, is channel reporting already available for performance max campaigns specifically? Can we see which channels are driving the bulk of the traffic? Maddie, as I said, there's something called channel path insight, which is currently being developed for some of the advertisers, and for some of the accounts it is already available. If it's not available for your account yet, You'll soon be able to see that. And that will tell you exactly what channel paths, as I said earlier, also is leading to conversions on your account. Is there any other question that we have? Is radius targeting available in PMax? Is PMax recommended for event promotion? That's a question from Elora. Elora, yes, your campaigns can run. You can run Performance Max campaign for local or store visits as well. Events promotion is something which you can achieve through Performance Max as well, because event promotion websites are usually lead gen objective websites, or in some of the cases it's online sales as well, and you can achieve both the objectives with Performance Max campaign. So you can definitely run event promotion on PMax as well. Uday says the Performance Max will display ads to the relevant people even they don't require the services provided by us. They will watch the ad and leave. It may be better than partner display ads and Google Extended. So as I said, Uday, the Performance Max campaign is precisely for lower funnel objective, which is conversion focused objective. So if you're referring to something which is awareness, or objective of a campaign is to drive awareness, I'll suggest you to continue using other solutions like VRC and VVC campaign, which is part of YouTube campaigns. But Performance Max will drive conversion based objectives to your business and to your partner's business. All right, I think we have taken up most of the questions that we had in the chat. I again appreciate you all for being here all along, and we really look forward to you having optimizing your Performance Max campaign better now after this session. Or if you're someone who's planning Performance Max campaign for the first time, we hope that you have more information about it, and then you will be able to create your Performance Max campaign better in the future. With that, I really appreciate you all for participating today. Thanks again.